All right, it's Media Day 10-6A. We are here with Heath Head Coach Mike Spradlin. Coach, man, what an exciting year last year was. And I'm not just talking about making it all the way to the regional final. I'm talking about every game we went to that the Heath Hawks were playing was exciting because the poor scoreboard operator up there is getting carpal tunnel trying to get them points up on the scoreboard. Talk about how excited you were last year, especially when you may have snuck up on some teams. Obviously not in your area. You knew exactly how good you're going to be, but in DFW, you kind of snuck up on some teams. You made all the way out to that great game against Cedar Hill at Globe Life.
Yeah, it was a special year. I've been fortunate to, be a part of a couple of, flips, turnarounds, whatever you want to call them, and at Cooper and at Temple. And, we kind of exceeded maybe that second year, expectation level. Our guys, it's funny, belief and hope are two big things. And so you always go in with, with some hope. And then the key is to get them believing it. And at some point in the playoff run, I'm going to probably say the Temple game and then certainly the Bridgeland game, our guys' hope turned into belief, And so early on, you're right. I mean, we started off with couldn't stop anybody. And so, we win a shootout at Louisville. We score 70-something and they score 50-something. And next week we score 50-something and South Lake, of course, so we kind of flipped that, but we found our stride defensively, and that's been a big thing. And especially coming through the playoffs, we just played ourselves into pretty darn good defense. So, we lost a couple of those guys. We got a lot of guys back on offense, but it was a special year, no doubt about it. I mean, it was a great year for us, and really kind of, when you look at Heath in general, we had a state championship baseball run, state final soccer run. Every team that we had was in the playoffs. It turned out to be a pretty special 2020, 2021 year, honestly.
Now, we talked this summer. We were at a camp together, and we talked about Josh Hoover, your quarterback, and we were wondering why he wasn't getting the greatest offers in the world. It's like, why is he rated wherever he is? And we kind of pushed off the ratings because we've both seen him with his eyes. But he's now got a home at Indiana, and talk about him as a quarterback and what makes him such a leader for your team.
Well, he's special, without a doubt. I mean, he's unbelievable. Not only in his, you always have kids who have ability that may not have the processing, or maybe vice versa, right? You've got a kid that processes great and maybe not necessarily can do all things. Josh is unbelievable. He's the best I've ever seen and ever coached at understanding what we do, why we do it, and what they're doing, and then in turn has the ability to back it up. He can make every throw and make every throw on the field. His arm angles are incredible. He's kind of in that, what I call that new line of, we've actually done it. I had a little guy at Temple my last year there, a kid named Reed Hess. Reed was probably, that was coming off of Chad President and all those guys, and Reed was probably 5'8", 5'9", shortstop. And, he just has all that going on, getting the ball out, getting it outside. And Josh has certainly got that going on. He can make some unbelievable throws, really. And, but he processes so good as well. So, yeah, Josh was a COVID victim. I mean, what I mean by that is, the recruiting 2-year cycle of recruiting for these young guys that are now seniors has been an absolute, disaster. And so people particularly with quarterbacks, all these gurus out there, these college QB guys, they don't believe their eyes sometimes what they see on film. They want to see it in person. And I understand that. Indiana chose to believe their eyes, and they weren't the only ones. I mean, there were some people around it Josh hard. A lot of guys wanted him to see him at camp this summer. I think if he'd probably done that, he'd gotten all the offers he wanted, but he didn't want to do that. He really built a relationship with Indiana. He did it. Kevin Johns in Memphis is a stud as well. And those guys, we kind of found out who the great recruiters are. I'm not going to lie to you. And anyway, Indiana did a great job. Tom Allen's got some stuff going on up there, and that's his home, and he's fired up about it.
Now, we could talk about your offense all day because you got skill position, high Division I's everywhere with Jay Fair and Neighbors and Evans and all them. But tell me what you're going to bring back on defense. I mean, you just finished talking about how you gave up 50 and 70 in the first couple of weeks. What do you need to do defensively to become that serious state contender?
Well, so the real plus for us is we're bringing back by far the most experienced secondary we've had. Peyton Williams, kid that's committed to South Carolina safety for us. I mean, he's made phenomenal improvements, you know, through both years he started as a sophomore for us. Played really, really good last year and has had an unbelievable offseason and summer. So he's going to really show up. I mean, he's not just, there's a reason why South Carolina and those guys, Michigan State and all those guys started offering him. They see what we see. And so Peyton's back, Lane Horak's back at safety. Noah Wilson plays some nickel, outside backer stuff for us. Those guys. So we've got a lot of experience back in the secondary, and we're really excited about that. We're excited about our D line. We've got a guy that's off the radar, but will be on it. A kid named Justice Ryder, who was hurt all last year, got hurt on the 5th play of the Louisville game, and was hurt all last year. And he's a big defensive end for us. Justice is a little over 6'3", about 235, and he's going to really turn some heads. He's an off the radar guy that we're excited about. I don't think he'll be off of it long. So we've got a good young group. Just to be a senior, but of D linemen that we're excited about. The inside backer spot's probably where we graduated the 2 guys that were the strongest for us. So that's kind of been our focus. Jackson Rapier and Vice President and Matthew Witt and those guys will be those guys. But so that's our probably on defense the area that we're most inexperienced